Turning to the criticism facing Keir Starmer over the Rochdale by-election candidate, here is his speaking a little earlier today.
Came to light over the weekend in relation to the candidate. There was a fulsome apology. Further information came to light yesterday calling for decisive action. So I took decisive action. It is a huge thing to withdraw support for a Labour candidate during the course of a by-election. It's a tough decision, a necessary decision, but when I say the Labour Party has changed under my leadership, I mean it.
If it has changed, will you then be investigating the other councillors who also joined in with that discussion that were recorded when Mr Ali made those comments in October?
Well, those comments were appalling, and that is why we took decisive action. It is virtually unprecedented to withdraw support for a candidate in the way that I withdrew support for this candidate yesterday. That's what a changed Labour Party is all about. And of course, any allegation will be fully investigated by the party. But the important thing is the decisive action that's been taken to make it absolutely clear that this is a changed Labour Party.
You didn't actually answer that question, though. There were other councillors who were Labour councillors in that room joining in with that conversation. Will they too be investigated?
Any allegation that needs to be investigated will be investigated.
And Martin Ford has said that there's a perception that anti-Semitism is being weaponised along factional lines. Do you accept that you have handled previous cases of anti-Semitism allegations in your party differently to the way in which you addressed this case, and aren't you guilty of double standards?
I set out 4 years ago to tear anti-Semitism out of the Labour Party. It's the first thing I said I'd do as Labour leader, and to change our party. I've taken a series of decisions along those lines, ruthlessly changing our party, and it's made no difference to me where somebody stands in the Labour Party. The change I brought about is a Labour Party that is now back in the service of working people.
Who should Labour supporters vote for in Rochdale then?
The voters in Rochdale will have to determine who they vote for, but I'm not prepared to put forward a Labour candidate unless I think that candidate is fit to be a Labour MP.
Okay. No, that's for the now we're
basically saying Labour supporters in Rochdale, sit on your hands. Yeah. Don't go out and vote.
Well, essentially, yeah. He's insisting that the party has changed, that it's taking a strong stance when it comes to anti-Semitism. But it's lots of people are going to be worrying about the state of the Labour Party.
To be honest, I felt like I was just being gaslit there, brazenly lied to. He was saying he took decisive action. He waited 3 days.
Yeah.
He was told about this story by the Mail on Sunday on Saturday, because they will have gone to print on Saturday night. Yeah. He was told about it on Saturday. He sent his ministers out to the Sunday shows to sit through the grilling that they took, to take all of that sort of accusation of hypocrisy, in my view, an accurate accusation of hypocrisy there, given how he treated some of his own MPs. And then for the whole of Sunday and the whole of Monday, he sent his ministers to defend that position before only then a further accusation of anti-Semitism.
Well, this is the thing. Am I right in thinking it was only because the party knew that these further revelations were coming out, which made it absolutely beyond doubt that he was indulging in anti-Semitic tropes?
I would have thought that it was beyond doubt to start with, but what was clear there is that the Mail on Sunday held some information back, and any good newspaper does this. If you're going to initially draw a story, we saw this with Partygate, actually. First, it was the drip feed. You get people to deny the first thing, and then you release the next story. And then the fear from the party involved or the individual involved is that there is a further story to come. This is journalism 101. And I am shocked.
Surely if this man had the sense, he'd pull out of the by-election altogether. Surely.
That would be the decent thing to do. But frankly, I'm shocked that people in the Leader of the Opposition's office, people in Keir Starmer's team, don't know that this is how Sunday papers drop stories. Don't understand that this is exactly what happened over Partygate. Don't understand that this is what's happened over many of these different exposés in the past. You put forward a bit of the story, but you hold some back. And see what the person doing does.
How many people involved in the Labour Party heard these comments, knew this was what this candidate thought about things?
It's a huge question.
Didn't stand up and say something? That's what I want to know, because that's how you find out whether there is anti-Semitism still rampant in some corners of the Labour Party.
Just extraordinary.
And in our politics in general.